And I was brought up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I was brought up in a tough neighborhood. And you could say we used to congregate in gangs on a corner, but we were harmless. But it seemed like if you had to go out of your neighborhood, we went to a new neighborhood, the other kids would stop you and say, are you from this neighborhood? We never seen you around. Say, oh, yeah, I live the next block over. And they'd say, you have any money? You. But anyway, it was a depression time, and anyway, my father says, we're not going on welfare. As long as we work, we're going to be able to keep off of welfare. All those kids, there was 5 boys in my family, and we all had a job to do. I used to shine shoes, go uptown and shine shoes, and or right across the street there. Seemed like every neighborhood had a barber shop and a bakery or a little grocery store. And I used to go to the bakery, and they made pretzels there, and so I used to take a basket and buy the pretzels. I think it was more, I think they were like 2 cents each. So I used to sell the pretzels for, I think, 50 cents. Would knock at doors, want to buy pretzel, anything. We got through the Depression. When World War II came along, I was 18, and I started working at a machine shop in Center City of Philadelphia. And when World War II broke out, I was an apprentice machinist. I'm going to get in the Air Force. I said, the reason I'm going to the Air Force, I don't like to sleep on the muddy ground and eat with dirt and all. She said, all right, I'll sign. So I signed, she signed for me. And it was sure enough that they fulfilled their promise after I enlisted. They sent me to Harrisburg, right close to Harrisburg, about 90 miles from Philadelphia. And sure enough, after basic training, they put me in the machine shop. And I said, I don't want to go to the machine shop. I could do the same thing as a civilian to myself, you know. Then there was an ad on a bulletin board. They said, if you have perfect eyes and good health, you can be a crew member, probably a gunner or a flight engineer. I said, boy, that sounds good to me. So I went over to headquarters, and they gave me a physical, and mainly for my eyes and depth perception, and then they said you can't be no more than 160 pounds and no more than 5'10". So I took the physical, I passed everything. I was only about 148 at the time, so there was no problem there. And then when they checked my height, I was 6 foot tall, and wow. So I crouched down a little bit, and the fellow measured my height. He said, 5'10", just right, you're in. So I was in. So they sent me to gunnery school. I quit school before I was 16, like a couple of months before I was 16, and I didn't get too much on mathematics and algebra and trigonometry. So that was the only thing I worried about, you know. Gee, I don't know, I'm going to pass that trigonometry. And I was surprised to be a gunner. It wasn't just aiming a gun. You had to know, well, it was mathematics involved, the angle of attack and the speed of a bullet and the yaw and the spin. There was a lot of mathematics involved. So I was afraid I'm going to flunk out on that. So I got to be buddies with one of student gunners, and I said, you know, I'm afraid I'm going to be flunked out. I said, I'm not too good on math. He said, oh, yeah, I'll show you. So we spent hours, and he gave me enough math so I can pass it. I did real good. I think I was about the third on my class. And the class was about 42 people. And they even warned you before they said about 30 of you is going to get washed out. And well, I did fine. So then the day I graduated, they called us out and they pinned the silver wings on us. So I hadn't told my mother that what I was going to gunnery school for. She thought I was still studying machinery, being a machinist. So here when I graduated, I said, I'm going to have to tell my mother. So I sent her a letter, and you're supposed to, most of the guys just send their wings to their girlfriends or their wives. So I sent my gunner's wings to my mother and says, I just graduated gunnery school, and I'm supposed to send it to my best girlfriend. I said, you're my best girlfriend. I saw them her up. So she sent a letter back, and she said, you always want to do crazy things. You always want to be a hero. And she said, I forgive you, and I hope God be with you. And finally, they formed our crews, and we're in the barracks, and we're waiting to see what's going to happen, you know. And one of the fellows comes in the barracks and says, any of you guys know a Maestro G. Como? Somebody says, you mean Maestro? Yeah, the middle initial G. Como. So I heard he was at the end of the barracks. I said, hey, are you looking for Maestro Giacomo? He says, yeah, that's close enough. I said, that's me. He said, well, you're going to be in our crew. I was sent here to, well, come with me. We're going to the other barracks and get the other crew members. I had to go in each barrack. And we finally had our at least the enlisted men, the bomber crew, 6 of us. And we got to know each other. And we all seemed to like each other. Then that was the bomber crew. Then we met the officers, the four officers, and they assigned us to a plane, the B-24. First time I seen a B-24, it looked like a boxcar. You know, this thing's supposed to get off the ground. So anyway, we started our flying, and we all seemed to like each other. And then they assigned us to the 445th Bomb Group. And there's 4 squadrons in each bomb group. Then we found out Jimmy Stewart is going to be one of our commanders on a squadron. So we were assigned to the 702nd and 445th. Jimmy Stewart was a 703rd. Anyway, we started our face training. So one day, our flight leader comes running and said, hey, you know, our pilot's going to be checked out. And guess who? Jimmy Stewart, the movie actor. So, wow, Jimmy Stewart's going to check out our pilot. So, the waist gunners and the sail gunners in the back and the ball turret gunners in the back and the forward of the Bombay, or where the officers were, you know, the pilot, co-pilot, the navigator, and the bombardier. So we wanted to get a look at Jimmy Stewart, so we all had an excuse to go up in the cockpit, you know, and we see Jimmy Stewart sitting in the pilot seat checking out our pilot. When I was in gunnery school, Clark Gable was in one of the classes, and we find out that Clark Gable, he's not like Jimmy Stewart, you know, he's a Hollywood type, and Jimmy Stewart was way back, and he wanted to be treated like anybody else. But Clark Gable, when I was in gunnery school, I heard when he got tired to listen to the instructor, he'd just get up and walked out. I personally met Jimmy Stewart. I was in Sioux City, Iowa, and we were training there. And you're supposed to be back by 11:30 when you're out in town. So one day I was out with this girl, and we were smooching on her back porch of her house, and I lost time. So I looked at my wrist. I said, "Oh, man, I was supposed to get home," and it was about 11 o'clock, and I was supposed to be back to the base 11:30. So I was worried. Oh, I lost time. So she called her father about 11 o'clock. He had to be back to the base. Her father drove me back to the base, and by that time was like it was like quarter or 10 minutes to 12. I always wanted to do everything just right. I didn't want to screw up, so I pretty near begged the guy to get. I said, "Oh, could you just?" "No, I'm sorry, I gotta turn you in." I said, the next day, the first sergeant said, "You wanted at the headquarters." So they said, "Your commanding officer is not here. He's on a cross country." So they said, "But don't worry, Jimmy Stewart's going to talk to you." So I had to go in and saluted him, and said, "Sergeant Mastrogiacomo reporting as ordered." Yes, sir. And he looked at me and says, "Sit down, Sergeant." And he's looking at the papers and rubbing his chin just like he did in the movies. He said, "You came back late." He said, "Sorry, we hate to interfere with your social life." That's what he said, "but you got to follow orders." I said, "Yes, sir." And I tried to explain, well, I lost time. So he said, "Well, I never seen anything against you. Nothing ever. You seem to be a pretty good soldier." He said, "Well, forget about it." And they said, "Just don't let it happen again." But anyway, we got along real good, our crew. So I told guys in our crew, I said, I got 4 brothers home. I said, and now I got 9 more brothers. I said, it was like a big family. So, and we all got along. Sometimes they conflict, but we were like a team. And I thank God for that, because I didn't like the idea, like when they had the replacements, they just put you right in combat with some guy you never knew, And we had to train for about 7 months before we went overseas. Anyway, finally, we went through all this training to get overseas. We started October, beginning of October, and we got overseas towards the end of October of 1943. So we took the southern route. It's all according to what the time of the year you go overseas. And we took the southern route through Florida, then we went to, we had Puerto Rico, then we had Brazil, British Guiana, I remember all those places. Then South Africa, then North Africa. When we got to North Africa, I don't know, that for some reason they held us up, and we're waiting around. It seems like you want to get in combat. You want to get in. So our job, that we had to go out like 7 or 8 hours just looking for submarines around the Africa area, And we said, "Why are we doing this?" They said, "Well, the Navy's supposed to come in and take over this, but until they come here." So we were about 2 weeks before we finally go on our way to go get to England. I used to sit at the waist window. My other buddy was on the other side of the waist window, and all the gunners had to scan the ocean. And a lot of times you see a whale or something, and you think it might be a submarine. They told us to look up for these submarines. They got to come up to charge your batteries. So one day we did see a submarine, and we weren't real sure. And then, yeah, that was a submarine. So when we get a little closer, it went dived, and we dropped our depth charges, but we never knew if we hit anything. We dropped our depth charges. And anyway, but we did that for about 2 weeks solid. Then we finally went on to our way, and I got to Tibbenham. Yes, this was between Ipswich and Norwich. We finally got into combat, and first the two missions they let you hit Pas-de-Calais, where the flag guns were, and they even had cannons to hit any ships or for the invasion. So we hit that, at least 2 missions that you hit Pas-de-Calais. And then we started going on longer missions. I think Ludwigshafen was one of the longest missions, and we didn't have escort. And about my 7th mission, we had the P-51s come out. So I was in some rough missions. They had the big week in February, the first part of a week, and we're supposed to hit anything with flying, air bases, aircraft factories. So we had our target was Gotha, Germany, and it was a Messerschmitt plant. That Gotha mission, they said maximum effort, and we only had 28 planes to get in the air that are flyable, and even though it was supposed to be at maximum effort. So we take off with 28 planes, and we find out 3 had to turn back mechanical failures. And so it was 25 over the target. And boy, they must have been trying to protect that Messerschmitt plant. They're coming at us. The planes were going down. And on that mission, I had been the tail gunner. I had changed it was my regular tail gunner because I told him I liked the tail turret. So anyway, with plenty of action, we were coming right at the tail. They would hang on the tail, then they were once like in threes, and then they would all at once come in it, and it was a hairy mission. But when the 3 would come at it, I hit one of them and it blew up. And then another one that was smoking. Then all once there's an explosion in a turret, and all once the protective glass that was about I think an inch and 7/8 thick, and it's about like I think it's 14 by 16, and that got hit, and I couldn't see out of it. So I'm sort of worried. I got to protect this bomber, so I can't see out of it. So then I clicked in my head that there's 4 pins that you can pull out, and then you push the glass out, so in case you can't, get shattered. So I pull the 4 pins out, and I reach back to push it out, and don't budge at all. So I get back again, and a little more strength, and push out, but it won't budge. So I'm worried. I'm praying. I said, God, give me the strength. I gotta get. So I get back again, and I push real hard, and the glass comes out. And guess what? The glass gets caught between the two guns. So then I go to operate the turret. The turret's not working. So I put the cranks in the azimuths, for elevation and up and down and horizontal. So I have to crank the guns down so the glass will slide off. So I'm cranking it down. All once I see a plane right in my sights. And it looked like he was ready to press his trigger. So when the turret wasn't working, you had to fire with your foot. There's an emergency foot fire. So I hit the foot fire right away, and that plane, it seemed to blew up. So anyway, I don't have no control of only the cranks. So I got to crank it to put the reticles on the plane, And what happened then? Oh, then I feel something on my back of my neck. And I put my hand up and I looked at the fur collar, I looked at it's red. And I looked at my gloves were red. Oh, I'm hit. So I'm thinking to myself, so this is what they mean when you're wounded. I said, it feels hot, but it's not paining that bad. So this is going through my mind, and then I hear the pilot saying, "Sam, are you right? Sam, are you right?" And at the time that blew my oxygen, there was like an explosion in the turret, and I blew my oxygen mask off, and my throat mic was off. But I could hear the earphones, "Sam, are you all right? Sam, are you all right?" Then I said, "Bill, go check, Sam." So Bill comes over in the back, and there was it must have been 20 millimeters that hit the turret, and it shocked me, from the explosion. And Bill comes over. "Sam, I pointed to, he looks, and he sees there was an overhead line on the top of the turret, and that was a hydraulic to charge the guns, to fire the guns. So when he seen the red, and he looked at, "You're right, that's only hydraulic fluid." Oh, I think I was sweating blood or something. So it was a big relief. I put the oxygen mask back on, and so then I had to crank the planes are still coming in. Well, anyway, you see planes are going out. Oh, at the same time, Herman, the top turret gunner, the flight engineer, he said, "Look at this George," our radio operator. George was only atheist on the crew. He's on his knees praying. He was praying, the atheist. Because planes are going down. So we finally got on the way back, and they even followed us. After we dropped the bombs on them, they were following us. Anyway, planes are going down. We lost 13 out of the 25. And we got back there. Where's the rest of the plane? I don't know. So I seen Jimmy Stewart comes up, runs up the bomb. "Are you guys all right? Where's the rest of our plane?" So the pilot said, "They all went down." He went like this, and he got back in the Jeep, and he took off. I think he was crying. We went like this. We'd seen his holes all over our plane, and the turret had the holes and the glasses off altogether because I was pushed out. I'd say, well, we go to critique, and I told him I think I got 3 airplanes. Did you really get it? Did you see it crash? Did you see it blow up? Did the pilot bail out? And he asked all these questions. I said, well, I know 2 of them blew up, and one was smoking when I went flying away. So anyway, the next day, the first sergeant comes on and he says, "You wanted over there in public relations." "What for?" He says, "Just go over there and you'll find out." So I get on my bicycle and I go to public relations, and there's 3 guys waiting out there. "Are you the tail gunners shot down?" He said, "Yeah." So they were, "Okay, we're going to do a story on you." So they said, "Could we go out to the airplane? Could you put a 50 caliber on your shoulder?" I said, "Yeah, I can go and get the waist gun." So we went out to our plane, and I put 50 caliber on and they took my picture. So then, okay, let's go back to the building and finish the interview. So we go back there, and they get, no sooner the guys start an interview with me, well, once a guy comes running, and "I just seen Jimmy Stewart. I just seen Jimmy Stewart with a bicycle." So the 3 of them left me like a hot potato, and they ran after Jimmy Stewart. And I see them when I went by, they're getting the story from him while he's on his bicycle.